Hello and welcome, it's Chris from Christopher Hall Training, and welcome to this week's tutorial where we're talking about 7 beginner exercise guidelines for building core strength and stability. Now, you may be a beginner, this is going to be useful for you. You may have also done core training before. Some of this you might find useful, but so as I talk through it, something might resonate with you and you think, I need to add that in, or I need to apply that to my core training as well. All of this information, you can find out more about it in my core ebook, which is How to Build Core Strength and Stability, which is, you can see the link at the bottom of the screen there. If you go down to the description, you'll see the link there. You can go through, you can find out more about it. And if you so choose to, you can purchase it. It's a practical ebook. You'll be working through it. It's not just information. All the core guidelines are in there. So if you want to start putting a better core program together, you can get those guidelines from there. I'll talk more about the book as I go through. Alternatively, you can come to any of my social channels, which you'll see up in the top right-hand corner, which is Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. Please, below this video, pop a comment, something that you've learned that's new, a question that you might have. I'm more than happy to answer questions on this topic, or anything that you've sort of learned throughout this video that you didn't realise you needed to do before. So, with all of that said, let's get back to the topic, which is 7 beginner exercise guidelines for building core strength and stability. So, number 1, start with as many core workouts as you can per week. So, with regards to core workouts, because you're a beginner, I'm not talking about sort of heavy weight training, because heavy weight training is great for core strength and core stability. But because I'm talking about beginners, it's just about starting with very simple exercises that are going to help your core become stronger and more stable. So it can mean, if you are a complete beginner, you've never done exercise before, it might just be doing 1 workout a week or 2 workouts a week, because your muscles are going to become active and therefore they might experience some degrees of soreness or fatigue in the preceding days after, which isn't going to allow you to do 3, 4, 5, 6 or even 7 core workouts per week. And what I mean by workouts, I don't necessarily mean full 60-minute workouts. It could be as short as 15 to 20 minutes. So you could do something like that each day. Second is you can go up to 5 to 7 times per week. So you can, as I mentioned, you could do 7 times per week on core training if it's a short workout. There's nothing wrong with that. The main thing is not taking it to complete fatigue. What you've got to be able to do is activate the muscles, engage the correct amount of tension within those muscles for the appropriate exercise. So what that basically means is the harder and the heavier the exercise, the more you need to brace and engage the muscles. The lighter the exercise, the lighter that you need to brace and engage the muscles around the core. So what we're talking about here is the appropriate amount of tension for the exercise, if that makes sense. Number 3 is you don't need to go to full muscle fatigue at the beginning. As I mentioned, it's just about choosing and selecting the right exercises, choosing the right amount of tension that you need to hold and engage those muscles with, and then progressing that. So I'm just talking about bodyweight exercises that you could do at home. Because we are talking about beginners, you might not go to the gym. It's very simple to talk yourself out of training, because it's like, well, I've never done it before. I'm not a gym member. I'm not interested in going to the gym. I don't want to get a trainer, or whatever it might be. These are very simple things for beginners that you can start doing. So number 1 is you can start with 1 a week. You can go all the way up to 7 times if you want to, but it can just be 15 to 20 minutes a day. You don't need to go for full fatigue, so you just need to activate the muscles at the beginning. As I've mentioned, perform shorter workouts, so shorter more often, 15 to 20 minutes long. So you can do that. So that might be just selecting 3 or 4 exercises with 3 or 4 stretches to be able to get your muscles engaging correctly. And then what that's going to do, that's going to allow your body to become that bit stronger and that much more, or your joints that much more stable. So for core strength, exercises should focus on increasing duration. So although it's core strength, what we're really talking about is core endurance. So it can start off as simple as doing 2 sets of 10-second intervals with a 5-second rest. So it would be a 10-second plank, a 5-second rest, a 10-second plank, a 5-second rest. You're not taking your muscles to full fatigue. You're feeling them engage. And then what you can do, once you've mastered doing 2 blocks of 10 seconds for 2 sets, so essentially you've done a 40-second plank, you can then take it up to 2 sets of 3 blocks of 10. So you'll go 10-second hold, 5-second rest, 10-second hold, 5-second rest, 10-second hold. So you're doing 2 lots of essentially a 30-second plank, which is taking you up to a minute. What you can then do, as long as you don't get any pain in your lower back, you can start taking out those 5-second rests. So you could then do a 20-second hold with a 5-second gap and a 20-second hold. So you're now doing a 40-second plank, and then you would do that again for the second set. Does that sort of make sense? So we're talking about just trying to find ways to increase that duration. And we start at a point at which you are capable of doing, which might be just a 10-second plank repeated twice. And then you build from there. When it comes to core stability, exercise should focus on instability. Now, it's key here to think when we're talking about core stability, it doesn't necessarily mean standing on one leg. Because what we get a lot of when we stand on one leg is we get a lot of ankle and foot stability. And it doesn't always get up to the core. So when we talk about core stability exercises, we need to really be down on our knees because it takes the feet out of the equation and it starts to then focus more on the hip and the spine. So what we're doing there is we're then getting our hip and spine stability, hence the core stability. So we're focusing on making bird dogs, half kneeling exercises, which we can start much more stable with a wide base and then make much more narrow with obviously a narrow base. Now, obviously, those exercises are in the ebook. So if you want to know what those exercises are, you can look them up on YouTube, or you can go straight to the ebook where it puts it all together. And the reason the ebook's together is because it makes everything sort of makes sense because it's all there. So instead of just trying to pick an exercise on YouTube and then trying to find another video with all the exercise, with all the reps and durations and things like that, it's all in one place in the ebook. And then finally, you've got stretch your hips and shoulders. So what that basically means, this is probably the most forgotten bit of all of this. There might be elements that you kind of understand and you kind of know from the other 6. But when we stretch our hips and shoulders, it allows the muscles to function that much more effectively. So we can engage them better for core strength and endurance. And we can it makes the muscles react better to the instability. So you can do exercises at the start and then do the stretches at the start and then do the exercises after, like a traditional workout. Or you could do an exercise and then in the rest break do a stretch and then redo the exercise for the second set and then go on to the next exercise and do another stretch, next exercise and another stretch. But what we need to be able to do is stretch your hips and shoulders so the muscles function that much better, so we can engage them better and they can react better to the instability. So those are my 7 beginner guidelines for building core strength and stability. If you're unsure of them, go to the ebook, purchase the ebook, and you can read through it. You can read through what are the best exercises to do for core strength, for core stability. I will also give you the guidelines on how to put all those exercises together, how many sets you need to do, reps, duration, how many times a week, so on and so forth. So that's all in the ebook. But those are the guidelines that it follows. So hopefully this has been helpful. Hopefully it's given you a better idea of what you need to do. As I mentioned, pop any comments below in the comments section, and I will either answer the comments or answer any questions that you might have. So many thanks for watching. My name is Chris from Christopher Hall Training. I'll speak to you in next week's tutorial.